Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Hypersonic 55, and I'm coming to you again with another film review. And today's film review comes in the shape of Men in Black 3. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love Men in Black. The whole Men in Black franchise is just a really cool thing. When I saw the first film when I was about, I think, 7 or 8 years old, I thought it was one of the coolest things ever. Just seeing, like, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones as, like, you know, partners going about and taking out aliens and stuff like that. I thought that was just really, really cool. And the second film, I didn't actually see until about 2005 because I'd heard loads of people just like, you know, hating on it all the time. So I took a look at that, and to be honest, I didn't mind it that much. I thought it was okay. Obviously, now looking back on it, it definitely wasn't nearly as good as the first film in any way, shape or form, but it still had its moments of fun. So now we have Men in Black 3. Is this one a good film or a bad film? Well, we're going to go about and discover that in this review. Now, the story of Men in Black 3 goes a little something like this. The alien criminal known as Boris the Animal kills young Agent K in the year 1969, altering the timeline and placing the world in danger. So Agent K, played by Will Smith, has to travel back to 1969 before the murder and work with the young Agent K, played by Josh Brolin, to save him and the world in the future. And that is basically the story of the film without going into the area of spoilers. Now, the story of Men in Black 3 is pretty cool for the most part. It seems to move at a decent pace, and while the time travel element was implemented into the film, it does seem a bit shoehorned into the film in some respects. For me, it worked out. It seemed to work in the film's favour, and there happened to be a little bit of character development going on, and a little bit of heart to the film as well, which is surprising, and it was a welcome aspect to the film as well. Now, let's talk about the characters of Men in Black 3. Now, Will Smith, as usual, is just doing it as Agent J. He was incredibly cool, funny, and always busting out those jokes. It was just great to see him back in the role after so many years. And Tommy Lee Jones as Agent K, though he's not in the film as much as, like, you know, the previous two movies, he still seems as cool as ever. It's like, you know, the stern old man who never really smiles that much and has strange tendencies that separate him from, like, you know, the rest of the human race. But him as Agent K, along with Agent J, still have that same chemistry that made the Men in Black films so successful in the last two films. But I think the stand-up performance has to be from Josh Brolin as young Agent K. He happens to embody all of the aspects that make Agent K so jokes. He happens to have the same facial expressions, the same tone when he talks, and the same, like, you know, mannerisms that just make him, like, you know, Tommy Lee Jones's younger clone or something. It is literally uncanny how similar those guys are. And Josh Brolin and Will Smith happen to have that same chemistry that made, like, Men in Black number 1 and 2 so cool, just to see, like, you know, those guys operate. They happen to have great chemistry, and it works out really, really well. Now, Boris the Animal, played by Jermaine Clement, is, you know, he's an okay villain, but to be honest, he doesn't really reach that same fever pitch that we got from the first villain in the first film. He has some funny moments, but, you know, meh. And Emma Thompson as Agent O, head of, like, you know, MIB in present day, she was pretty cool as well. So some of her jokey moments were a bit cringeworthy at certain moments, otherwise it was fine. And I think I have to give, like, a special mention to, was it Michael Dullenberg as Griffin? He happened to have so many funny lines in there. I think it's purely because of the way in which he talks and the strange facial expressions that he happens to make. He happened to have some great scenes in the movie. And Griffin, yeah, we salute you, mate. Now, in terms of the presentation of Men in Black 3, it happens to be pretty cool. The CGI, while a bit outdated looking in certain sections, especially when it comes to some of the time travel elements, otherwise is pretty cool. But I think the main thing that stands out about the presentation is the soundtrack done by Danny Elfman. Now, Danny Elfman, veteran composer, who is one of my favourite composers, by the way, brings it all back with this film soundtrack. Danny Elfman's score for Men in Black 3 is just great. It puts you right back in the zone of Men in Black, and it feels like you never left. With a few updates to the main themes here and there, with, like, you know, the use of, I think, a few rock guitars in certain sections and all that, it still feels heartfelt, it still feels action-packed, and it still feels like Men in Black, and Danny Elfman just brings it all back. It feels great, and Danny Elfman, you rock for it. It's just really cool. Now, overall, Men in Black 3 was a pretty good movie. It happened to have a lot of solid laughs, which was the main thing for me. It was funny, and that was the cool thing about it. Men in Black 3 is just fun, and that's all it needs to be. Now, the film does have its problems, but they are few for me. Firstly, the film never gives you that proper sense of urgency like the world is ever actually going to end. You sort of just know that everything will just work its way out, and there's never really a point where things just feel like, you know, oh, crumbs, something actually bad is going to happen. Secondly, Boris the Animal, for like all of his ranting and raving, he just seemed like, you know, a bit of a throwaway villain. He was just a bit meh. So yeah, to summarize, Men in Black 3 was just fun. It was a fun movie. I had fun, I laughed, and it was just a great summer movie. Will Smith is still just as cool as ever, and it's great to see him back in the screen again. Josh Brolin as young Agent K was just doing it. And, you know, I say go out and watch the movie. It's not nearly as bad as the critics are saying. Just go out with a clear mind and you'll enjoy it. It's better than the second movie, nowhere near as good as the first, but it's still worth a watch. So yeah, I'm going to give the film about a 7 out of 10. I've seen the film twice already. I probably will see it again because I just like Will Smith, so yeah. Well, that's been my review, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you found it informative and look forward to the next one when it shows up. So until then, this is the Hypersonic 55 signing out. Yo.